man, it is a gorgeous, gorgeous morning. Just cold enough for you to wear a sweatshirt. Feels really good. My main concern today is that I see one combine, but I do not see the other. And this is like not a big field. Like I can see the entire field from where I'm standing. Where is it? Huh. Apparently it's down there, because I'm right there. Because there's that one right there. Apparently the hill at the end of this field is just big enough that I can't see them. So if you're a long time OG watcher, actually not that long, just this spring, but the video where I finished planting the field at like 4 o'clock in the morning, yeah, that was this one. One of those passes over there was planted at like 8 miles per hour with a non-high-speed planter because it started raining and it was like the last pass of the field. But I got it done. Got it done. How often do you pick up people in the middle of the field? Often. Mostly you. Yeah. I just usually start walking because I'm like explaining something in a video, then I turn the camera off, and then I just keep walking, and then I'm like, I'm in the middle of the field.
Well, either stand at the end or start walking.
True. I got here, hopped in the grain cart, got a call that I have to head back to where I just was, and I'm gonna take over a truck for my brother today. Getting the whole variety of things to do this weekend. Like the past 3 videos, all made the same weekend. Been grinding. My chariot awaits. And apparently I weigh 180 pounds with everything in my backpack and my lunch cooler. Anyway, so my brother had to run off. He's teaching Sunday school this morning. It's Sunday morning, but I need to dump the back hopper and then scale it out empty, and then I'll bring you guys through the whole entire process when I come back, because he already did most of it. I'm getting a lot better at shifting trucks. Not as good as like Farmer Grace's or Type R. I mean, she drives that thing to like Target, which is awesome. I've never been much of a truck driver. I've forgotten my trucking courtesy. Every single truck so far that has passed me has done the good old trucker wave. And I forget every time. I'm gonna be the black sheep of the community if I keep that up. About to go over a sprayer track in a truck. Lovely. And from being a grain cart driver for many years, I know that the proper thing to do when you first get back is you take your trap handle, you go to your traps, and you double check to make sure that they are closed. Because the last thing you want to see as, well, any farmer in any position is a big pile of grain underneath the truck when you start to unload in it. Not a good time. And I don't know if you can tell or not, but we kind of like white Macks. We have a lot of them. We do have a non-white Mack. We have a green one, a turquoise green Mack, which is very unique. I drove that one last year a little bit in one of the videos, and we might have a red one. I honestly don't know if we still have a red one or not, but most of them are these new 10 speeds. A couple of them are automatics, and we do have 2 9 speeds, 2 like 1997 models. Those are my favorite. Check to see how full this one is. Not very. Okay, this one just needs one more grain cart and it's ready to go. I also just realized that our other truck driver is in the cab with him, so this ain't my truck. Okay, this time I get the truck that I backed into with the grain cart last year. If you haven't seen that video, after this one, you should go check it out. I was in a different, how do I explain it? I was very bummed, very kind of depressed about it for a while, and then I realized stuff happens. Okay, so we just finished up this field. Looks like they weren't able to fit it all on my truck, but I'm gonna head out to the elevator and dump, and I will see you guys there and show you the process of how we keep track of all the grain that comes in. So first thing we do when we pull up to the elevator is we pull on our scale. That way we know how much the truck weighs when it comes into the elevator here. Make sure all 4 tires are on. I'm not very straight, but I'm on, so that's good. Then I come inside the office and we have a notepad right here. We write down the truck number. So in this case, I have truck number 30. We didn't put the numbers on there. We bought it with a number on it, but works for us too. And then I write down the weight that the truck weighs coming in. Then I pull into the pit area where I can dump the truck. Then I come back here and look at how I did. Realize I am not over the pit and move accordingly. There we go. Second time was a charm. So I'm gonna unroll this tarp. A lot of our trailers have electric tarps. This one does not, has a manual tarp, but just, it's good practice when you get to the elevator, wherever you're dumping your corn or soybeans, whatever you're dumping, to unroll the tarp first. These trailers do have, like, I don't know what the technical term is, but little holes to allow airflow into the trailer, but you don't want to collapse that tarp, and you need it rolled open when you get back to the field anyways, so we just unroll the tarp here. So I had to turn the pit and the leg on. This is the pit. This is where you dump the grain out of the truck. It brings it over here to the leg. The leg takes it way up there, and where it gets dumped into a grain bin. So while I dump that first hopper, I grab a sample of the grain and I bring it back into the office to do a moisture test. So I take my sample, dump it in the top here. Like that. Hit this green button. Dump the soybeans into a little tester in there, and then in about 30 seconds, it'll give me a moisture reading. So we're showing 10.6% moisture. So then I go right over here to this notepad where I just wrote down my weight, and I write down that this truck was 10.6. See, now that I don't have my backpack and stuff on, it shows 160 pounds. That's better. Make sure it's closed. There we go. Now I just do the same thing for the back hopper, except I don't take a moisture reading of it. Typically, the moisture is fairly consistent throughout a truck. If we think that one hopper is a lot more inconsistent than another hopper, we'll test them both. But typically, you only test one. So now I'll make sure all my wheels are on the scale, which they are, and head back in the office and write down the empty weight. So now that I have the full weight and the empty weight, you can subtract the two, divide it by the weight per bushel, and you can figure out how many bushels of grain you hauled in. And this way we have each piece of paper for each farm, so we can figure out how many bushels each farm was. We can divide it by the acres, so that way we know how many bushels per acre, how good the farm yielded. And then we write down the moistures too, because it's actually possible to re-wet grain in the grain bin, so that way you get paid a little bit better when you take it in to sell it. So if you're bringing in grain that is too wet, you can either dry it with like LP or natural gas to get down to your desired moisture, or you can put it in a grain bin, and it all depends on temperature and humidity, but if you turn the fans on at the right time, it'll dry it down. The opposite with wetting. You can put grain that's too dry in a bin, and then if the temperature and the humidity is right, if you turn the fans on, it'll actually put moisture back into that grain. And we actually have a couple of bins at this site that have moisture sensors hanging from the ceiling, and the whole system's automated. So I can type into my phone, I want the grain in this grain bin to be 13%, and it'll say, okay, the moisture is at 10% in this grain bin, and then there's temperature and humidity sensors on it, so when the humidity and temperature is right for re-wetting grain, it'll actually kick the fans on and try and get that entire bin to a constant moisture. All right, I'm done here. So I'm gonna head back out to the field, and hopefully I don't stick in the truck all day. Hopefully I get to do something else, so I'll bring you along for that. Okay, story time. So, a new CDL law came into effect like February of this year. And so it used to be you needed to go in, get your take a written permit, and then you needed to take a driving test, and then you could get your CDL. Pretty simple, pretty self-explanatory. Now you have to do like so many weeks of class and so many hours of like ride along, and they made it a lot more complicated to get your CDL. So I think the due date when they changed the law was like February 7th of 22. February 7th, yeah. So on like February 5th, I went in and got my written test. That way I could be grandfathered in to just take the road test and get my CDL license. No big deal. So I took the written test, passed it with flying colors, and then I went to schedule my driving test. And here's how stupid the state of Minnesota is. I had like a month and a half left before my permit expired. And I'm like, okay, time to go get my driving test. So I called to get it scheduled, and they go, oh, we don't have any appointments. I'm like, what do you mean you don't have any appointments? I'm like, we just don't have any. I'm like, so when can I schedule my next appointment? They go, no, you don't understand. We don't have any more appointments. I'm like, what? So state of Minnesota got so backlogged that they couldn't fulfill everyone who had taken their written test. So a large portion of the people who, like me, who scramble at the last minute to get the written test done, never got a chance to take their driving test, which kind of pisses me off. And it's partially my fault for waiting till last minute, but still, I took the written test. If you can't fit everybody in, extend the 6-month deadline. So now if I want my CDL, I have to go and take this stupid driving class for however many weeks, or I don't even know what it all is. It's just a bunch of BS is what it is. But luckily for agricultural purposes, you don't need a CDL to be legal. So I can drive the truck with my grain in it from the field to our elevator or selling point or whatever legally. It's just if you were to be driving commercially or hiring yourself out as a driver or something like that, then you need a CDL. But for your own personal agricultural purposes, you don't need it. So that's just my little rant for the day. Something kind of pissed me off the state of Minnesota. A lot of things pissed me off the state of Minnesota, not gonna lie. All right, so this is the first field of soybeans we planted this year. The one where, if you guys watched it, I'd hit every fence post along this edge. Well, anyways, our neighbors were out farming, and this guy, coolest family ever. He has a couple different combines. He has a bigger Case IH, and then he has a couple of these older John Deere. I don't know what number they are, maybe 8820, not for sure, but I'm gonna get the drone up and buzz him a little bit, because that's a cool old combine. I really like it.
you called me out. You had plans and expectations, so you turned around. How could you talk about forever to a guy like me? I was surprised how you could live this. Guess I couldn't see. Now I'm getting letters from Wyoming. Keep my TV on. I'm not going. Stay a little longer. I'll wake up when I'm stronger.
Henry, you want to go get these beans over here that were missed by the combine? See these ones that are standing up? Why am I always running after stuff and people in this field? Yeah, look at all these beans he missed. Should we grab them, pick them up, and then put them in the combine?
Yeah.
Okay. You got that one coming out? Not coming out very good? Here, I'll pick these ones for you. Okay, can you put more in there? One more. There we go. All right, now let's put them on top of the beans over here, okay?
And then Carson, tell us when you're going to be on TV.
You want to get them on top so that way they get combined up. There we go. Perfect.
Carson, give the thumbs up. Henry,
Hey, Henry, high five.
Henry,
Sweet.
do this.